Hello again, YouTubers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm the Board Game Captain, and today I'm going to be reviewing and showing you how to play 1750 Britain versus France. Now, 1750 Britain versus France is a game designed by Jason Huffman. I'm going to show you that there, and it was published by his company, Battle Hardened Games. Now, Jason Huffman, this is a first-time designer, and this was a Kickstarter game, though I picked it up last year at Gen Con. Now, this is a two-player game listed at 45 to 60 minutes for ages 14 and up. And I don't actually have a whole lot to talk about here because it's a strictly two-player game. It doesn't try to pretend it can play at any other player counts, and that's good. 45 to 60 minutes is a pretty good estimate, usually a little closer to the 60. And the 14 and up is also a good estimate because there's a fair amount of complexity in here. Now, this is a game where you are orchestrating the colonial wars in the year 1750 between England and France. And you fight over the colonies in the Caribbean, Africa, India, and North American areas. Now, let's start with the rule book that's in here. I'm going to go through some of the components here. And now the rule book is quite nice. It is full color. The pages are made to kind of look like parchment. They do have a full illustration of the setup, which is really good. I really like that. There are a few other illustrations, but one of my gripes about this rulebook is that there's just a lot of blocks of text. As you can see here, this is 2 pages with nothing but text. And I do really feel like there needs to be more pages like this where the text is broken up with little diagrams and illustrations. It's not that bad. I've seen worse, but I would say this is overall a good rulebook. I definitely do like this rulebook. There's not really much in the way of ambiguities. It's just that those big blocks of text can make your eyes glaze over while you're reading a rulebook. So the next thing I'm going to show you are the personal player boards that you get in front of yourself. This is the one for Britain, and you have your treasury, your prison, your purchases area. These are all very important for the game, as well as a cheat sheet on it. And that is really good and a really good place to put the cheat sheet. So 2 thumbs up from me on these. There are 2 of these boards in here. The other one, of course, being for France, and they have different illustrations on the French one, and it has blue banners behind the letters as well to differentiate. Now, the next board we have here is the Political Objectives board. And the Political Objectives board is full of all different real historical characters, and I do want to draw attention to the artwork in this game because they chose to use these classic portraits, which are public domain as their illustrations, but they look great, and it really does convey the feel of the time period. Now, I could see this artwork as being a bit divisive, but I really like it. I think it was a good idea. Now, these are and I'll show you when I'm showing you how to play the game, you try to get all these different leaders to your side of the conflict, and each one will give you aid or a benefit in some way. The next bit of components we have are a bunch of 6-sided dice. They're plain white 6-sided dice with black pips, not much to talk about. And then we have some cardboard punch-out tokens for coins, as well as for control markers. Now, the control markers have a English and a one of the time period's French flags with a bunch of golden fleur-de-lis on it there. And then the rest of the components are really just cards, which you're going to see mostly when I'm showing them being out on the table. I'll show you a few here, though, to show off some of the really nice pictures that they have taken from public domain artwork from the time period to put on here. But these are very nice looking cards. They're well done. You have smaller cards for your forces, which you will be moving around to try to fight over the different colonies. I'll show you a few of them. So these are the siege guns, for instance. And for instance, this is Louis Joseph de Montcalm, who is a very powerful general, very useful. And let's find some others that look kind of interesting. Here we have a fortress and some local allies, which are very good. Local allies are one of my favorite cards in the game. I use them in massively. Very good. And, of course, privateers. Lynn is a big fan of the privateers. So there we go. That's a look of what the components look like in the box. Now we're going to head over to the table, and I'm going to take you through a few turns of how this game plays, and then we're going to come back. I'm going to talk about how this game feels. I'm going to review it and rate it, and then we're going to get a second opinion from Lynn. Okay, so here we can see a game set up of 1750 Britain versus France. The first thing you have to do when setting up 1750 Britain versus France is you have to shuffle up the historic event deck, which just says 1750 card game on the back. Once you have thoroughly shuffled up the 1750 historical event deck, you deal 10 random cards out, and that becomes the start of turn draw deck. This is like a turn counter because each player in this game gets only 5 turns to try to win the game of 1750 Britain versus France, after which we see who has the most points. Now, after you do that, you have to then take the political objective deck and place, the political objective board and place it here. Now this represents all the other major political forces that can possibly be involved in the fight, and each of the players on their turn will try to get them to join their side. Then you take your country's own battle deck, which does not need to be shuffled, and you just place it next to your board because this deck allows you to look through and pick any of the cards in it in order to purchase them for use during the game. The gold tokens and the control markers are placed here near the board. The gold tokens just look like gold coins, and the control markers have the British flag on one side and a French flag on the other. The dice are also placed next to the board for easy reach between each of the players, and also there is a deck of cards that are representing trade routes that are placed near the board. Each card represents a specific commodity, and you want to collect sets of 3 different commodities each to be able to get more money at the end of each turn. After that, you shuffle up the deck for the colonies. Lynn points to the colony deck for me, which shows maps on the back of it, and you deal out until you have 3 colonies from each of the areas, which are Africa, the Caribbean, North America, and India. Any extra colonies are shuffled back into the colony deck. And then, after you have done that, we establish starting control of the colonies. So we rolled off. Lynn rolled higher than me, and she got to decide if she wanted to pick the first colony or take the first turn. She chose to pick the first colony, and then we alternated back and forth until we each had 3 starting colonies. So, Lynn, which colonies did you start with?
I started with Bombay, Ile-de-France, and St. Kitts.
And I started with Guadeloupe, Fort William in Bengal, and Louisbourg. So that allowed me to start with, they showed the symbol for their resource there. I started with a trade route for silk from the colony in Bengal there, a trade route for sugar from Guadeloupe there, and a trade route for fish for Louisbourg. Now, with those 3 different trade routes, that's going to be worth an extra gold at the end of every turn because I have a set of 3 different trade routes, and that's very good. Lynn also started with 3 different trade routes. Then, after you do that, you just got to, everybody takes 3 gold to start with. We shuffle up and everyone gets a secret objective, which can be worth an extra point at the end of the game, which you keep a secret. Don't tell your opponent what you've got going on. And then you're pretty much ready to go. Now, because Lynn chose a colony first, I'm going to go first, and we're going to run you through a few turns and show you how you play this game. So the first thing you do in the beginning of every turn is you draw a historic event card. Now, you can put this in your hand, and you can save it for later, and you can play any number of historic event cards on any turn, even on your opponent's turn, unless they specifically tell you you can't. Or you can play it right away, and in this case, actually, I'm going to play this right away because this is a great card. So this is the New Colony Founded. Now the New Colony Founded card allows me to draw a new colony and immediately take control of it. So what is our new colony?
James Island, Fort Gambia in Africa.
So I am going to take control of Fort Gambia, which immediately gives me a precious metal resource. So that's very good. So I'm going to take that and add it to my resources over here. Now the next thing after I do that is I would be able to take my actions at colonies, which the colonies all have actions written on the bottom of them, but usually you need to have a general there or a leader present in that colony to be able to take its action, because neither one of us have any leaders on the board on the first turn. I'm not going to be able to do any of that, so I'm just going to move on to trying to fulfill a political objective. So I'm going to go for the easy one, which is the King of Sweden, Adolf Frederick, the King of Sweden. He only needs a roll of a 3 or better to get him. I could sometimes play cards which give you bonuses to rolls, or spend gold to give me bonuses to rolls, But as he only needs a 3 or better, and I have a 2/3 chance of getting the King of Sweden on my side, I'm just going to go for a straight up roll. And look at that, I rolled a 3.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
After your opponent's political objective roll, reduce their score by 1.
Oh, man. So I do not get the King of Sweden on my side. Lynn has intercepted me there. Now that is going to affect my choices when purchasing. So now it's my turn to do purchases. So what I'm going to do is I've got 3 gold to purchase, and I was going to purchase a general, but I really want to get some colonies going. You know what? I probably am still going to purchase a general, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to purchase 2 local allies. Local allies cost 1 gold each, and later in the turn when they come out, I can actually place them on neutral colonies and immediately take them over. So that's 2 gold for them, and I'm going to spend 1 more gold on one of the mercenary generals that either one of us can buy, and I'm going to buy Johan Zoutman, a Dutch mercenary, and I'm going to have him join my side of the conflict. So after purchasing all of them, I could move anyone who was on the board, but there's no one out there. We would have battles if anyone moved into each other's spaces where they had forces. Then I get to place my purchases. So now I'm going to place Johan Zoutman in North America at Louisburg. I'm going to place this local allies in Dixa Cove there. So I'm going to take that over, and that will get me ivory. Would you find me the ivory while I'm deciding where to place my other local allies? And I'm going to place, oh, thank you. I'm going to place my other local allies over in, let's see. I'm going to take Chandragore, which gets me a silk. So if you'd find me a silk, please. And then once I have gotten that, I actually have 2 full sets of 3 resource trade routes each, which means that's 2 extra gold. You get 3 gold just for being alive. So at the end of my turn, I will collect 5 gold, and then I am all finished, and it is Lynn's turn.
Okay.
Oh, let me put my control token there on Chandragore. So what are you going to do now?
I am going to play this.
Oh, right away.
Yes, the regional power joins your side.
Oh, boy.
Your local allies are going to defect to my side.
Which ones? Your choice is you can take Dix Cove or Chandragore. Your call. God, that's brutal.
I'm going to take this one.
Oh, Africa is looking more and more like it is French-owned.
And then I don't have any actions at colonies to do.
Nope, no generals on the field yet.
So I'm going to attempt to get the King of Sweden.
Mm-hmm. Oh!
Hold on.
Are you going to do a reroll?
Yes, I'm going to do a reroll.
So Lynn played this card, which allows her to get a reroll for the King of Sweden. She only needs a 3. There she goes. Okay, so King of Sweden comes to your side, which gives you timber. The King of Sweden basically gives you a trade deal to give you the timber resource. Oh, you took my ivory over here.
Oh,
we
yes.
didn't do that. Here's your ivory. So now we're both at 5 trade routes.
Now I'm going to purchase.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to purchase a local allies.
Good choice. They're always good in the beginning of the game.
And 2 of these guys.
2 of the mercenaries? Who are you hiring?
Juan Jose Navarro and Luis Vicente de Velasco.
I think it's Vicente. He's Portuguese.
Okay, well.
Not Italian. So.
I default to the Italian pronunciation.
Okay, so is that...
Yes, that's all I'm buying. There's no battles to resolve, so then I am going to place my dudes. My local allies are going to go there.
Wow, you have 3/4 at this point
so
of the African colonies.
3rd ivory, and I can swap these
You
around.
can swap those around,
time.
so you can have an ivory in each of those sets.
And then I'm going to place Juan Jose there, and Luis.
In India. Okay, so there's going to be a fight over Africa and India, it looks like. All right, so are you all finished?
Yes.
Okay. So,
oh, I didn't get my gold.
Oh, get your gold. So you get a full 5 now. Nice turn. Way to go. Okay, so I'm going to take my card here. So I'm going to play this card right away. Popular uprising in Europe. From now on, you get a -1 to all your rolls on political objectives. Because you're getting way too big for your britches over there, I'll tell you what. So now I do have a character in control of a colony. I have one of my leaders, and that allows me to roll a 5 or better. I can place a free fortress in Louisburg. So let me get a... Oh, no, I did not get it. So unfortunately, no fortress for me. But then I'm going to... Let's see. I'm going to try for a political objective. I'm going to go a little crazy. You know what? I have decided I'm going to try to get the Empress of Russia, Elizabeth, the Empress of Russia on my side. Let's see if I can do that. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play the Influence of William Pitt, which is going to give me +2 to my roll, because she normally needs an 8 or better, which is impossible on a 6-sided die. The +2 means it goes down to a 6. That's not so bad. And then I'm going to spend 2 gold on bribes, and I'm going to bring it all the way down to only needing a 4 or better. So now this is a 50-50 shot to get the Empress of Russia on my side. I just need a 4 or better. Oh, I didn't get it, so I'm going to do... His Majesty is giving this matter his personal attention to do a re-roll. And one more shot. Let me pick a different die. I need a 4 or better. Come on, Elizabeth. Come on. You know you want me to win this war. Yes! And Elizabeth wants me to win this war. I had to spend a lot of cards to do it, but the Empress of Russia joins my side. Now, the first thing that would happen is there's a couple other people, I believe it is, when Russia joins your side, if Prussia and Austria already had sides, they would become neutral, but nobody had them. And then the next thing is I get 2 forces sent from Russia to aid me in this conflict. And the Russian forces are actually quite good. They each get +1 to their die rolls, and I can place them in any colonies I already have control over. So I can see where the trouble is brewing right now. So I'm going to put one in, one here on James Island, and I'm going to place one in Guadalupe. There we go. So then I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to make some purchases. I've got 3 gold left to purchase with. So I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to get to do some movement and try to take some more colonies here. But I also, I've got my lovely, lovely purchases to do. So let's take, I'm going to purchase a plantation for 1 gold. I'm going to purchase the final of the mercenary characters, who is Jan Hendrik, for 1 gold. And I'm going to purchase, because I might need him in the future here, I'm going to purchase, where is he in my deck? Take a look here. There he is. I'm going to purchase George Washington because he gives a bonus to local allies in his area, and I'm going to add him. So that is it for my money. Now we're going to do movement. So thanks to the Russian characters I have here, I get to do a bunch of movement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move Johann Zoutman over to Lake Champlain / Lake George, which gives me a furs resource, and I get control of it. I'm going to move my Russian mercenaries over here to take over Barbados, which gives me another sugar. And now this is a gamble, but you know what? I think the expression is go big or go home right now. So I'm going to give a shot at fighting you over here in Africa where you're kicking my butt, and I'm going to try to take Dick's Cove back. So I'm throwing the Russian mercenaries at them. Now they are a little bit more powerful than because they get a +1 to their roll, than the local allies, but it's going to be close. So now we're going to move into the battle phase. Now I roll a die for the Russian mercs, who get a total, they get rolled a 3, so they have a total of 4. And you got a 4 as well. So no one takes damage. We roll again. Oh, I rolled a 7, so I got you this time. There's nothing you can roll. So at which point, those local allies are defeated. Now, these were actually my local allies that had turned traitor on me, but they are out of the game. And I'm going to take back Dick's Cove from you, which means I get your ivory. Nice. Okay, so that is it for my battles. Now I get to place out my my other things. So I'm going to put a plantation on Louisburg, which gets me an extra fish, which is very nice.
Where's the fish?
Where is the fish, indeed? Okay, so I get another fish. So that is really good because that means I now have 3 sets there. Then I'm going to place. I'm going to put Jan Hendrik over there to protect the plantation, just in case. I don't want any German mercenaries showing up out of nowhere and taking over that colony on me now. And I'm going to put George Washington over here in India, because it looks like that's about to become a hotbed of activity, and he's going to give a bonus to my local allies over there. So that's it for that. Now I'm going to get 6 gold at the end of my turn, and then it is your turn, Lynn.
Well, I'm going to do a popular uprising in Europe against you.
Oh, -1 to my rolls now. Well, it's a good thing I already got Russia.
Now I can do some actions at colonies.
Hold on, you know what? Let me see. Do I have anything that can stop that? No, I don't. Okay, I was just checking to see if I could add anything that counted the popular
over
uprising.
in Bombay, if I roll a 6, my opponent loses a gold.
Oh, don't roll a 6. Don't roll a 6. Oh, man. There goes my gold.
Let's see.
Ouch.
That's not a leader. Over here, if I roll a 6, I may place 1 gold in my treasury.
Oh, you robber, you. Oh, come on.
I was not expecting that to work.
No, it actually did, though. That was pretty great.
Okay,
I'm expecting lots of German mercenaries to start showing up this round with all that money.
let's see. I'm going to roll for... I don't have anyone in North America.
No.
Let's see.
There's 2 5s. You could either go for Sebastio Jose, the first Marquis of Pombal.
I'm going to go for William IV, Prince of Orange.
Okay, now don't forget, you do get a -1 to this roll.
Well, I'm going to use... It'll be...
A +1? Are you going to use the one that gives +2?
Yes.
So that's a net +1, but you still would need a 5 to get it. You can put some money into it if you want. You have got plenty of money at the moment.
I do. I'm going to give it a shot just
on a 5 or better?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I would have spent the money. Nope. Okay, so the Prince of Orange does not join your side.
So then I'm going to purchase.
Oh, because you wanted to save all your money for you were just looking for like a random chance.
If I was gonna, I'm gonna buy a privateer.
Okay.
And then.
You know you're gonna buy a German mercenary. I don't even know why you're debating.
I'm going to buy a German mercenary.
That's why I knew. Where is he going to show? Now, German mercenaries can't be bought on the first turn, but once you buy them, they can show up anywhere you want. Oh, they're coming right to Chandragore. Wow.
Then I'm going to buy...
So there's going to be a big fight in Chandragore there. I'm sure he's going to move in before the fight happens. So it's going to be at least a 2-on-2, depending on whether or not you send anyone else into this fight.
I'm going to buy Louis-Philippe de Rigaud de Vaudreuil. I'm, like, butchering his name.
Okay. One of your other generals.
Yeah.
You've got 2 money left.
I do. Let's see. I bought a privateer, another general.
And a German merc.
I am... Let's see. buy 2 more local allies.
Oh, wow. Okay. So they're going to be showing up at the end of this turn. Quite a few forces are going to be coming out. Okay, so now that you're done doing your purchases, yes.
I'm going to move.
Not a surprise.
Lewis over here.
I knew he was coming, so that's going to be a big fight going on. And
I'm not going to move anyone else.
Really? I thought you were going to move the local allies over to defend the Ile de Francais.
I guess I could do that. Well, yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
And then, you know, what the heck?
Oh.
Let's move Juan Jose too.
Oh, so Juan Jose is going to fight my Russian mercs?
Yes.
Oh, let's see how this goes. This is going to be interesting. All right, so which fight do you want to do first?
Let's do over here.
Okay, so we each get 1 die, and we each get +1 to it, so it's a wash. It's just going to be a raw die roll. I got a 6, so I get to capture Juan Jose. He goes into my prison over here. Ha 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 ha.
Okay.
I'll give him a little crust of bread, a bit of water, you know. So that was a good defense. And now how about over here? So I split my defenders up. You assign your attackers 1 per defender until we run out of defenders. There's no extra guys, so there's no doubling up. If there were extra guys, though, we would double up and put multiple guys on a single defender or vice versa. So, okay, so you're having the mercenaries against the allies and your general against my general?
Yes.
Okay, so my George Washington gets no bonus to his roll. He only gets a 2. And my local allies get a +1, which is only a 2. I'm in trouble in India.
I'm going to...
For the mercenaries?
Roll for the mercenaries first.
Oh, so that's actually going to be a... Oh, I'm going to win that fight because you rolled a 1. Because I get +1 because of George Washington gets +1 to local allies. But you're going to capture George Washington.
Oh, yeah.
So George Washington goes to prison. However, your mercenaries are out of the game, and now
they were going to be out of the game.
They were going to be out of the game anyway. But now it's down to my local allies and your general, and you have the advantage here because I don't get the +1 anymore because you captured George Washington. I got a 4. Oh, and you take out my local allies, which means Chandragore is now French.
And I get your silk.
And you get one of my silk. Indeed. So
now I get to place people.
Indeed.
I'm going to put my privateers over here.
I kind of thought that was going to happen. Try to build up your colonies in Africa a bit.
Yes. I'm going to put this guy over here.
Okay, defending the Caribbean.
And then...
And St. Kitts. Wow. And then, okay. Well, I was going to say, so that's going to give a real good defense on your last colony in the Caribbean there.
And then I get 5 gold.
You do indeed get 5 gold. So there you have it. That is how you play a game of 1750 Britain versus France. Now we go back and forth until we run out of cards, and then we see who has the most points. Now every colony you control at the end of the game is worth 1 point. Plus, your hidden objective can also give you an extra point, so it could be a nice little tiebreaker if you both have the same number of colonies. So now my hidden objective I actually was already able to get. It was to control Russia on the political objective board over here, which I did manage to get. So if I maintained control of Russia through all the way to the end, that would be worth an extra victory point for me. Now, what was your card?
I had to... My leader of a gold cost of 2 or 3 had to survive a battle in which the opponent's leader of gold cost 2 or 3 was captured.
Now that's one she would have revealed immediately if she had achieved that objective, but since she doesn't have anyone of gold cost 2 or 3 out yet, that would have been something that would have happened later in the game. Now we would have kept playing until we get to the end. We count up our colonies, we see if we got our secret objectives, which are worth another point. And if there is a tie, there are 3 tiebreakers listed. The first tiebreaker is if you both have the same number of points, whoever has the most prisoners, because characters become prisoners, whereas non-character cards just get destroyed. And that's the first tiebreaker. The second tiebreaker is the player who controls the most political objectives. And the third tiebreaker is the player with the most export cards. So there you have it. That's how you play and win a game of 1750 Britain versus France. So now I'm going to take you back. We're going to talk about how this game feels. I'm going to review it and rate it, and we're going to get a second opinion from Lynn. Welcome back. So that was how you play a game of 1750 Britain versus France. So, wow, I've got a lot to talk about here. Now, I bought this game based on the theme and the look of the classic artwork. It was one of the games that showed up last year on Gen Con's list of anticipated games. I was very interested to check it out, but the designer was a first-time designer. I didn't really know anything about the actual gameplay, except that I knew you were orchestrating the wars. And going into this, I had okay expectations. I was thinking it was going to be a pretty fun game, and oh my god, did this game blow me away. This was the sleeper hit for me of the games I picked up in 2017. This was a game that I had okay expectations on, and then I played it and I was like, oh my god, this game is amazing. Now, the feel of the game is very interesting because this game feels not like a normal war strategy game or a battle tactical game. It feels like you are a nation orchestrating from afar multiple wars across the globe, and that is a really interesting feeling. And the actual way of playing the cards and all of the mechanics involved are very interesting. I love the set collecting of the resources. When you set collect the different trade routes for the resources that you can use them to earn money. I love the moving around of the soldiers and how most of your generals are telegraphed in regard to the fact that you buy them. You can see that they're coming, but there are some that can just show up out of nowhere, like the native allies and the German mercenaries, which can just show up out of nowhere and attack an enemy colony unexpectedly. I love the things you can buy on the colonies to give them extra bonuses in different ways, like the fortresses to defend them, or the plantations to make them produce even more resources, which man, those plantations, they are a really, really cool mechanic. The dice rolling does add a bit of randomness to it, but it is mitigated by buying better and better generals, and buying generals that boost the abilities of other members of your forces. For instance, how George Washington can make all the local allies there get +1 to their die rolls, or how there's that one character who gives you +1 to all your forces in North America if you secure their allegiance on the political objectives board. And all in all, this feels like a lot of different mechanics, a lot of different elements that sing together in harmony to make an amazing two-player gaming experience. Now, this is not a small footprint game. It looks like it might be by the medium-sized box and the fact that most of the components are cards, but this is a big, expansive war strategy game that is easy to pick up, but with an amazing amount of depth to learn and get into. And I've been thoroughly enjoying this game no matter who I play it with. I've been mainly playing it with Alex and Lynn, and both of them have been really enjoying it as well. Spoiler alert, I think both Lynn and I are going to be giving this a fairly good rating. So now that's the big question. All that being said, how do I rate 1750? And the thing is, I've played this game about half a dozen times now. Every time I play it, I like this game more than the last time I played it. And where I'm at with this right now is that 1750 Britain versus France is 9 out of 10 stars for me. This is a big one. I love this game. I would play this game all the time. I really enjoy it. And you know what? Even with the minor gripes I have with the game, which really feel very minor, I think this game, for a first game designed by this designer, Jason Huffman, with a first game designed by Jason Huffman, he really hit it out of the park. And I am going to be watching Battle Hardened games because I want to see what the next game they come out with is. I'll tell you right now, I would love to see him design a new system, or I would even love to see him just reinstitute this same system, maybe with some different forces that do different things with a new theme on it. There are plenty of other historical periods that he could apply this to, or he could even do like a fantasy or sci-fi version with this same rule set, and I would buy it because I love this rule system. So there you have it. But let's get a second opinion. Lynn, how many stars out of 10 would you give to 1750 Britain versus France?
8.
So, wow. So Lynn really likes this game a lot too. And she told me that she was incredibly surprised because when I bought this, she thought the theme looked very dry and wasn't really excited about trying it. But then we played it, and after the first game, I could tell she had gotten really into it. And I said to her, I said, so did you like it? And she was like, yeah, I liked it. Almost like it was like she was questioning her decision that she liked it, because everything about the game made her think she wasn't going to enjoy it. And then she played it and she was like, and the thing is, Lynn, even though it was the theme that was turning her off a little bit, she's much more about the rules when it comes to whether she likes a game or not than the theme. And the rules for her were really tight. She really enjoyed them. She liked the combat. She liked the resource management for controlling the different trade routes. And she really liked this game. So that's 8 stars from Lynn, 9 stars from me. That is 17 total stars from us here at the Board Game Captain. This is a 2 thumbs way up review from us here. Now, if you like historical games, but maybe don't want to get into those games that last for like 4 hours, and you love the either love the theme or love a nice mechanically tight, interesting game with some dice rolling for combat and resource management and area control and card management, this is a great game for you. I would recommend this game to anybody who thinks anything I talked about or showed in this video looks interesting at all. I say buy this game. There you have it. So again, 2 thumbs way up from us. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, either on 1750 Britain versus France or on this video, feel free to put them in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this review and tutorial video and you'd like to see us do more like it, be sure to give this video a like. Share this video on any forms of social media that you may have. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Captain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube. And hit that little bell icon on my channel so you get alerts every time I upload a new video. And until next time, game on.